All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. We've got some more edge rusher stuff to get through today. And now that we're through the first group, which was yesterday, we are now firmly into guys that I believe the Seahawks will have a chance to draft. The two guys that we did yesterday in the last video, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to reasonably target those guys, but there's a very good chance that we won't. Both those guys, Cassius Howell and TJ Parker, it would not shock me if they're gone by 32. However, the guys from here on forward, like the guys in this video, should be there at 32. Should be. I don't want to go crazy here. There's plenty of time for stuff to change. But I think you guys get what I'm getting at. We're definitely in the territory now of being able to assess that these guys should be on the board when we pick. So we're going to start with somebody that, according to a lot of people, the Seahawks really, really like. This seems to be somebody that they would love to get in the first round. And if our information is correct, there's a very good chance that Zion Young will be the pick at 32 if the Seahawks keep their pick. And they've been keeping their pick a lot lately, so don't be surprised if they do. But Missouri, 22, big. He's got big size. He's 6'6", so he's one of those really tall edge rushers, which sometimes isn't a good thing, but it certainly can be a good thing. He's bigger than a typical stand-up edge, which we know McDonald likes, 262. Arm length is okay. 33 inches isn't great, but it's okay. The big boards, we got a couple of first rounders. We've got some second rounders. CBS doesn't like him very much. They have him in the third. The aggregate puts him in the early second at 38 last time I put together this data. And you look at the production in college. I think the thing that stands out is he's not necessarily a big-time sack guy. He had 6.5 sacks last year, but he had 16.5 tackles for loss. So he actually had more tackles for loss than sacks. Because remember, sacks are TFLs. So he had 10 tackles for loss that were not sacks. That's not typical, and it kind of indicates the kind of player that he is. 57 pressures. So even though he didn't get a ton of sacks, he had a lot of pressure, 85 PFF grade. Year before that, not being used as much, only 26 pressures, but still almost an 80 PFF grade, 5.5 tackles for loss, 42 tackles. Still a good player, still useful, still productive. But overall, Zion Young had a good college career, and I totally get why the Seahawks might like what they see here. So the size really stands out. He's bigger than most of the guys we look at. Some of these edge rushers are like 240. So he's got a big advantage there. And that size shows up in his power and strength. Very powerful player. Hits with a lot of force, a lot of knockback, a lot of ability to push through blockers. He's a great tackler as well, firm tackler. Even though he doesn't have the longest arms in the world, he's got some nice pass rush moves that he can utilize. He does have a bag of tricks that he can utilize to get to a quarterback. He's got great intensity, and he's a leader. He's an alpha in that locker room, and that's the kind of guy that the Seahawks seem to really like how DeMarcus Lawrence is an alpha. He's intense. He's got leadership qualities. Zion Young, I think, embodies some of that stuff. I like the way he works through blockers. I like the way that he can stack and shed, even though he doesn't have the longest arms in the world, and he's a really good edge setter. So should be great against the run. I think he's going to be a really good run defender. And again, this is another guy that I look at and I think to myself, this could be the next DeMarcus Lawrence. He's not the greatest pass rusher in the world. I don't think he's going to be some elite speed guy off the edge. That's not really his game. There's a reason why he doesn't have a 40 time on the board here. And part of the reason why is because it probably wouldn't be that great. He does play too tall and let blockers get under his pad, so he's going to have to learn how to sink his hips and play with leverage. He's a good athlete for his size, but compared to other edge rushers, he's not a great athlete. The lack of length concerns you a little bit because he is a guy who is dependent on his ability to get off blockers. And he is going to have to continue to develop more counter moves because of the fact that he can't win with pure speed. And you can only win with pure power so much. So I like the potential a lot. I think he's a good fit for this defense. I think he's the kind of thing that McDonald is looking for. I'm a little worried about the length. I'm going to temper things a tiny bit, but I do like this a lot. I'd take him in the back end of the first. If he's there at 32, I'm on board with that. And if you can get him in the early second, then all the better. So I like Zion Young a lot. Definitely a guy that I can understand why the Seahawks would be into. Okay, next guy in this group will be R. Mason Thomas. Very much the opposite compared to Zion Young. 22, undersized as heck. 240 pounds, 6'2", very short arms, tiny hands. And I'm not going to freak out about this, but the testing was not great. When you're this small, you really want to be a 4-5 guy and a 1-5 something 10-yard split. So the numbers are okay, but they're not really what you're looking for in an edge rusher. So our Mason Thomas, we got some issues here already. Nevertheless, every big board I use has him in the second, except for Walter, who has him in the back of the first. Aggregate has him in the mid-second. That seems to be about where he's landing. Take a look at the production. It's been pretty good. what is this? 22 tackles for loss, or 22 over the last 2 years. 15 and a half sacks. Probably would have had a big breakout year in 2025, but he got hurt. Probably would have been a double-digit sack guy in 2025 if he didn't miss time. Pressure numbers not super high, but not bad. And again, I think 2025 would have been his monster year if he had stayed healthy. Really good PFF grade for 2025, by the way, 85.3. Really good stuff there. So the numbers stack up. Now, we have to understand what we're talking about here. He's a crafty player. I like how he attacks gaps. He causes disruption. He's good at kind of sneaking in there and causing havoc. His first steps off the snap are rapid and violent, so the testing wasn't great. But if you take a look at the way he actually plays on a football field, his first step is good. He's got good bend around the corner. He can get underneath tackles. He's somebody who's really good at getting the outside corner of a tackle. And he's got powerful hands, and he knows how to use them to control a rep, even though he's not an overly strong player. And he's somebody that can chase down plays from the weak side because he does have that motor, and he does have that on-field speed, even if it didn't show up fully at the combine. But we are still talking about a pretty undersized player here. He's not very strong. He's not able to work through blockers that well. His length is going to be a big problem there. I do think that he's somebody that's going to get pushed around a little bit when you can square up on him. Testing numbers are a concern. They were not as good as you need to be when you're 240. His lack of length allows him to just get completely manhandled at times. He's gotten injured multiple times in his college career. He gets pushed around against the run. So it's kind of what you would expect here. You look at this guy's physical profile, you're thinking, oh, this is a pure speed guy. And he is, except maybe he's not even that fast. So the air is out of the balloon a little bit here. I still think he has value. An undersized speed rusher. He does have some nice stuff. He's got good bend. I like his motor, but he's not really a fit here. I don't know if McDonald looks at a guy like this and thinks I can make something happen here. So late second round to me, and in this defense, I wouldn't even do that. Like in this defense, you got to get down to like round 3, I think, at least, because I just can't imagine how this works. All right, so that is our second guy. We got one more guy for this video, one more edge rusher in, I guess you could call this round 2, part 1. And then we'll finish up the second round guys in a later video. So let's get to it. Gabe Jacas is currently the next edge rusher on the big board, Illinois guy. Really interesting. I've talked about him a lot this offseason, or excuse me, this season. Over the last year, really, I've been very interested in Jacas. 22, 6'4", 260, so good size. Kind of a Mike McDonald type, 33-inch arms, not great, but okay. Only bench pressed at the combine. He did well, 30 bench press reps. That's good. Big boards, mostly second, a couple of thirds. Aggregate puts him in the late second right now. Definitely a guy that could be there at 64. Had 2 good seasons, 19 sacks, 26 and a half tackles for loss, well over 100 tackles, so very productive. 6 forced fumbles, 85 pressures. I guess one thing that you might point out is he didn't make a big leap in 2025 when you would have expected it, but He still had more sacks, I guess. PFF grade went up a lot too, so he had a good year, definitely. So Jacas is another kind of power edge, which that should get your attention right then and there. He's got great strength. He can hold his ground against blockers, hold his ground on the edge, and work through contact. He's got violent hands that he can really use to dislodge a blocker and take control of a rep. He's versatile in how he can line up on the snap. You can line him up standing up. You can line him up with his hand in the dirt, and he's equally effective. He's got some burst and some bend. It's not elite, but he's got the first step quickness and bend to win on the outside sometimes. He's shown the ability to be good in coverage, I think, with his change of direction skills. I think he'll be fine dropping into zone. And for a guy who you can get in the late second in all likelihood, very productive college career. 19 sacks in the last 2 years is no joke. Now, he's not explosive the way some of the elite edges are, of course. He's more of a power guy. He doesn't have a lot of tricks in his pass rush bag. He's more of a power guy. He wins with power and occasionally with a little speed. Not necessarily somebody that's got a lot of like swim moves and spin moves and stuff like that. He is raw and inconsistent. There are some reps where he just doesn't get it, where he just doesn't get the job done. And he is a little bit raw despite his great college production, so he does need coaching. His technique definitely needs to be ironed out overall, like some of the hand usage, some of the placement. And despite his strength, he's actually not that good against the run yet. So it's going to be one of those things where you got to teach him. But I like the foundation. You get him with Mike McDonald. Maybe that first year you're not really getting that much, but by that second year, I think he could be a really good all-around edge. And again, another guy that I look at and I go, this could be the next DeMarcus Lawrence. And I know people are maybe sick of hearing me say that, but that's what I'm thinking about here. So I think his issues are mostly fixable. I see a guy who can be fixed and turned into a complete edge. I think that he will be a good fit for this defense. The one thing I'll say, he played at Illinois. You're not, he wasn't playing at Alabama. He wasn't playing at Oregon. It's a little bit concerning that at Illinois, at the college level, with his physical advantages, that the Fighting Illini would actually take him off the field on run snaps sometimes. They did not trust him on those snaps. That could be a problem. But I would still grade him an early second guy because I like the upside. I think that he can be fixed. I don't know if he can be fixed, so I can't put him higher than that. But to me, he's an early second guy in this draft. All right, so that's it for this video. Next video we do, we're going to be taking a look at some other guys that are currently graded around the back end of the second round at edge position. And then later today, we'll probably wrap up with a look at the third round guys. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your day and more stuff coming.